Guys, we are here for Hunter x Hunter chapter 411. Now, before we start and before Hart goes on his rant about what's about to happen, please tell me you guys have your bingo sheets ready and you've seen our bingo sheet video from 6 months back. And if you haven't, you should have gotten an update on our channel about maybe like maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. It's a really small clip, 40 seconds or whatever, which basically talked about the fact that there was a bingo sheet, and if you don't have it, you should be able to find it in that small video. Now, we are here with Togashi's Hunter Toyabu.
Peace.
After the last batch of chapters, this is going to be a monumental occasion right now. We waited 2 years for this shit.
Since 2024 December.
We need a moment of silence to just embrace peak right now. Everybody have a moment of silence. Praise the Lord.
Amen. Amen.
All right. Dude, this shit is fucking hype right now.
Bro.
We left off at the martial law kicking in. If we go into this chapter immediately, picking up exactly in that moment, dude, I'm about to lose my shit.
Look at the first page, Grin. Look at the very first panel right here. Day 12, Thursday. So we're back in time, which we knew. We knew this, Grin. Because Togashi has been consistently going back and forth in time for like the last 2 stretches. So now we're going back in time, filling the gaps.
We're basically going to see Hockenberg's perspective.
Yeah, we're basically seeing the lead up to it and all the prince perspectives and the bodyguards and the queens.
They're clearly showing the moment where Hockenberg talked to Benjamin,
that's right,
through the phone. But in what's his name?
Balsamilko.
It's been so long. Balsamilko.
Don't worry, I remember the name. It's like the back of my hand.
Bro, it's been so long. Wait. Ministry of Justice? Am I going to get Justice Bureau off jump?
Because remember, Balsamilko and Hulkenberg in his body was phoning. This was basically a follow-up to the conversation, the phone call from chapter 404, where he basically told him, yo, go follow the wishes of his men and make sure to treat the funeral with respect. And then we got the little part where he said, thank you, brother. And that was at the very end of chapter 404, before we went back in time. Where we went back with the Phantom Troop at the end of chapter 400, or at the beginning of chapter 400. So we're basically getting a follow-up continuation to that.
Oh, dude, seeing Hockenberg's perspective of what happens from here.
Yeah, what's going on with him? Where is he now? Because he's MIA and this guy's poisoned right here.
And also, he infected Benjamin with the
TXK-17.
TXK-17, which basically means that Benjamin only has a day to live in current time. So, how did that play out? And then how did Benjamin get up to Zhang Li's room to find out Zhang Li
how exactly?
Dude, this is about to be absolutely peak.
100%. How exactly did he manage to poison him? And what happened to Hulkenberg and Balsamilko's body? Like, where the hell is he? Because we don't see him in chapter 410. And then what happened to the other princes amidst all this chaos? But Grin, to the audiences, because they don't know about this yet, we've seen the color page, and let me just start glazing because I put on the Sadie jersey for this.
Jesus snitch right now.
Peak.
Jesus snitch.
Peak.
Jesus
that color page is single-handedly better drawn than any single volume cover Togashi's drawn in the past 28 years. I'm saying that right now. It's better than anything in UU. It's better than anything in Level E. It's better than all 39 volumes of Hunter x Hunter.
I'll be honest, that color page deserved to be the cover page instead of the cover page being the cover page. It should have been the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
That color page was too fire. And I know, Max. I already hear you. I know you're glazing. I know you're glazing Hisoka right now. I know he got the volume cover.
It didn't matter because he won the battle, but I won the war. He had to acknowledge that cover was on different timing. Like I said, I've been saying that this man's top 1 villain. This man's top 1 character. Togashi's basically pretty much telling me this is my GOAT's era. No other character, not Hisoka, not Chrollo, not Karapika, not Benjamin, none of these other princes, they're not going to eat anymore. Not Morena, none of these characters. It's my goat's time to shine. We're about to start eating. You guys are about to start. You guys are gonna starve to death. That's what's gonna happen from here on out.
The quick note on the cover page, the Hisoka cover page.
Fire.
Very interesting. Fire. Very interestingly
Yeah.
drawn. I love the fact that the 39 was both the volume number and also like part of like this like a tattoo on his skin, like scar.
It's a
from his
follow up.
skin.
It's like it's. I wonder because it's very similar to what he did with Volume 38 with Gon, and
Yeah.
Togashi
Yeah.
is pretty much drew that Gon volume cover in a manner because as a homage to Toriyama. Because what Toriyama does with his Dragon Ball covers is that he would like put on the number like on the character or something in some form with that coincides with the volume. So he's
Right.
pretty much continuing that. But anyway, let's continue. Let's start reading the peak.
We got to lock it. We had 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Ninth Prince's funeral procession is scheduled to depart the Ministry of Justice at 1 p.m. and arrive at the funeral hall on Tier 1 before 2 p.m. However, in consideration of succession war, his will dictates that a send-off by the princess is unnecessary.
Day 12 Thursday.
This is Day 12 Thursday at 8 p.m. Okay. So this is an hour before the announcement of like the conversation between Balsamilko and Benjamin with Hawk. Okay, cool. Once the Ninth Prince's private army is disbanded and the procedures for their reassignment to Tier 2 and below are complete, I will return there. Good work. Well done. Yes, sir. The time is before the issuance of the special martial law. Dude, these panels, man.
Yeah. God, it might just seeing my go. I just seen these characters drawn after so long.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh!
Yeah,
Kaiser.
Kachun, and Melody.
Yep, she's fast asleep. It's to be expected. She needs to rest quietly until she recovers enough to wake up naturally. Could it be that I'm making Fuchan use of extra energy? You absolutely must not worry about that. You're absolutely essential to Fugetsu. Without you, she wouldn't even survive. Whether the Ninth Princess's death was a suicide or an assassination by the first prince, the funeral will likely be held grandly and solemnly so as to not provoke public backlash. Okay. We will just wait and see until the Ninth Prince's funeral concludes without a hitch. In the meantime, let's get our own preparations perfectly in order. Okay. Which we saw this. This is basically the conversation back to
setting up them sneaking Lazarus.
This was in photo 402 or 403, right?
This was in 403. It was in 402, 403, and 404. It was like spread out from that, but the chapter with the letters was mostly in 402.
Yeah.
That's where we saw him. And then we're seeing Sadahel, who's one of the caste system members because she's now, because we learned back in chapter 404 that they're now going to join the Nen classes in order to infiltrate. And of course we know this because of chapter 389.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Just nothing but pure art and paneling. Fire paneling.
Dude, the paneling is so
goated. And the way it's done is like it's shaped like a mirror, Grin. Because she's literally looking at a mirror. Yeah. So she's wiping off her.
Wait.
Yeah.
Wait. You can see that they're drawing eyebrows using pencil, using like lipstick,
like shade, like
putting, fake lenses and stuff.
Yeah, and then fake, and then this is how she looks.
Wow.
I love how like the top and the bottom panel
looks so different.
Yeah. So she's gonna go in a disguise.
Hey.
Yeah.
Disguise yourself quite skillfully, Grandma. You're getting senile and so forgetful. This is my original self, while my persona as the captain of the guards is just an external mask. Okay. Do you even know the meaning of original? By the way, the situation has changed significantly with the death of the Ninth Prince, but we are still executing the plan as sketched. What do you mean plan?
Because remember the assassination of the 14th Prince by inflicting the curses. Yes.
Finding a Nen exorcist is essential, so I definitely want to smoke them out as early as possible. Well, it would be best if there isn't one, but working under the assumption that there is, we'll have to drastically alter our approach depending on the type of Nen exorcist they have. The curse on the 14th Prince. How many days do you estimate it will take to accumulate? If our rooms are separate and I can't see them, It'll probably take a full week, even if we're in the same area. If we're lucky and they lower their guard, letting me get close enough to touch them, I'll wring their neck and kill them on the spot.
Very interesting Sadahel characterization with the idea of her identity. Okay. Wait. If it comes to that,
if it comes to pleasure, please make sure Kako is my successor. Well, I'm off then.
Okay. And then now we're in the Nen classes, and we're already seeing new characters, Grin. Yep. So there's Donjin, and then there's Sarutobi of the Seventh Prince. So I assume that this guy's because remember, Grin, back in 2016, this man Togashi drew a whole bunch of character charts and all the other bodyguards that we still haven't seen.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people that he didn't introduce.
So now we're finally seeing them. Yeah. So this person, and this person. This one's probably with the another fourth prince bodyguard, and this one's with the seventh. There's Furikov and Bobby Mina. Bro, just pure artwork. No wonder they got this chapter out quick. Yep.
Oof.
Yep. Sakata, Hoshito, Bill, Shimano, Walbel. There's Obito back there. And it is just a color spread.
Okay, second training session. Current participants 18. Based on the results of the previous session, since there were several people who wished to continue taking the course and level up, we hastily increased the capacity and decided to split it into an introductory class and a beginner class. However, for the introductory class, a 2-week training course will put you in a state where you can use Nen. I will promise this unchanged from last time. Which of us is going to the introductory class? Oh yeah? You don't have to put up a tough front, you know. No, seriously, you should be the one to do it. That'll be you. I think it's probably by...
Yeah, you should have read that a second.
Yeah.
It's fine, though.
For the beginner class, 1 per week, I promise to have you master the basics of the 4 major principles. Furthermore, for the princes whose intentions and interests align with ours, I will permit an increase of 1 person per prince, limited strictly to the introductory class. I want you to confirm by phone whether or not they wish to add 1 more person. The beginner class course has been extended to 1 month, but of course you are free to quit halfway through. The basics of the 4 major principles in 1 month, that's an impossibly fast pace for normal training. But if he uses an attack, it's completely impossible. If the stalemate in the succession war continues for another month, the second time attendees here will become fully fledged Nen users, even from a military standpoint, and they will no longer be ordinary humans, which will basically make the entire succession contest
even more difficult. Because now you're not dealing with normal humans. Assassinations attempts don't work. Guns and poison don't matter no more.
Yeah, because now military rules and martial law doesn't
it
really
evens
matter.
The playing
field.
Have
Nen techniques that basically bypass normal regulations and political rules. So that makes sense. The aim of increasing the number of recruits is, in addition to balancing military power, to disperse and reduce the number of guards in other princes' living quarters, thereby steering the entire succession war towards a more defense-oriented strategy. Okay. So by limiting the number of people that actually maximize learning on Nen, they're trying to limit the total number of guards required per prince.
Yeah.
So that you can have one prince who's like a pretty decent Nen user, and a few other guards who have maybe lower level introductory Nen abilities. That way, if everybody has access to them, they don't have to post as many individuals in a room.
But the plays, man. This is why I love this arc. Umberi-san. Okay, there's a new character.
Okay. 13th Prince Guard Hunter Association.
Bellarente. We knew this man.
Bellarente.
Yeah.
During the previous lecture, a murder happened here, right? The culprit hasn't been found yet. Will it be okay this time? To be honest, I don't know. But I don't think he'll get targeted. However, if you spot a girl wearing mask, let me know right away. 11th Prince Attendance Giraldia.
There's a new character. Yeah, Radiolas, we've seen her before.
Skin conditions really gotten feeling good. Also, my silk shoulders completely gone.
11th Princess of Radiolis. I know, right? We're tired, but it feels like power is welling up even more.
Yeah, and it's Ladiolus.
Gladiolus.
Yeah.
6th Queen denied it, but if the military police tried to blockade it, then Prince 10 is already Rockily.
Yeah.
Lockily.
Probably.
Lockily.
Yeah.
We just need to do exactly what we were told to do.
Yeah, Yuri.
Okay. Another person who is also a guard means that Nen ability is just that powerful. Dude, so many new characters.
Yeah.
My God, it was already hard to keep track of all these names.
Yeah.
This is so many new people. Jesus.
But I'm happy though, because we've been wanting to see these guys. Indeed. And then here's Sarutobi speaking. The 7th Prince intends to wait and see until the troubles between the mafias is settled. We should look at this grace period as a golden opportunity. As soldiers belonging to the 2nd Queen, we will be reorganized afterwards no matter which prince belongs to the king. 7th Prince. In that case, whether or not we have mastered this ability will greatly influence our future assignments and prospects. True. Also, I thought being able to make contact with the 2nd Prince's private army here would be a massive advantage. And, how bitch.
So basically, regardless of who wins, them learning Nen will basically ensure that whoever ends up winning the succession,
it'll further their own careers and ambitions
for them.
Yeah.
But also, settling the mafia stuff that's happening on the lower floors acts as a golden opportunity because they have less drama and less things to contest again.
Mm-hmm.
Which means that moment where the mafia drama settles will probably be where most princes start to make their moves against other princes because they don't, they're trying not to get caught.
Yeah. Bro, the slow build up, man. Okay. Wait, that's a maid, right? Might just be a standard reconnaissance agent. The 14th Prince is in the master bedroom. Distance-wise, it's closer than I thought. It seems I can also get my hands on something the prince has used. With 5 days, I can execute the plan. Yeah, Sarah Hell, we knew the name. And then there's Santori of the 3rd Prince. An increase in personnel. Combined with the joint hiding declaration with the 5th Prince, it's a defensive strategy meant to create chaos.
And
complicate the situation.
Which is exactly what it is doing. It is complicating the situation. It's already hard enough to keep track of every single person's moves, but now with the delineation between introductory and beginner classes, now they have to account and think for a more defensive tactical strategy on what times to operate to maximize learning as much as they can about Nen classes, while also trying to guard said prince and also trying to capitalize on how many guards to put per prince, as well as how many people to essentially push forth to try and take out the competition.
It is not a good idea to reduce the cipher room.
Reduce the cipher room personnel any further, prince. After all, we can invite the 14th Prince's party to a meal as much as we want after the session ends. Well, however, we must do it in a way so that the 1st Prince's side doesn't receive reports that we are very good friends. I was waiting for that reply, though.
Yeah.
If it ultimately comes down to the use of force, that's the role of the lower ranks anyway. There's no need to share the special ability any further with my rivals in the promotion race. Even though I'm in a state ready to use Nen abilities, I'm practically powerless in front of the 1st Prince's private soldiers. In that case, I have no choice but to build my strength here while appealing to the 1st Prince's side regarding strengthening of our coordination with the 3rd Prince. I see. Then as expected, please leave this to us. So, in order to ensure that the 3rd Prince is more likely to win, currently because he can't do anything against the private soldiers, he has to kind of suck it up and go with the situation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
and at the same time, we're getting more. This chapter is more focused on the bodyguards and their ambitions and their characterizations, because that's always been a part here where we've always knew, like with Sokka, for example, back in chapter 360 something, like 365 or 366, that these characters have always had like their own ambitions, and this was another element to the succession contest arc where they're also like maneuvering this whole battlefield, this whole Game of Thrones chess thing, where they're also thinking about their ambitions and weighing the pros and the cons, while working for a queen. And just because they're loyal to a prince doesn't mean they're really loyal to the prince, because they could just be loyal to a queen. You're more affiliated to the queen than anything. And they're also thinking about, and they're also managing the pros and cons, looking at the situation, analyzing it, while also trying to weigh in their own motivations and ambitions and seeing how they benefit from this. For example, Temptori here, he realizes what Kurapika is trying to do, and he's pretty much utilizing and abusing the imbalanced power structure between the third prince and 1014, where these guys pretty much have 1014 in a chokehold because in exchange for protection and guards and all that sort of stuff, they can get as much information as they please, and they can't do anything about it. And if they refuse to cooperate, we'll just pull out, and you're kind of screwed against the other princes.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Santori's doing this
prince,
so he can get more ambitions. Yeah.
The first prince's private soldiers must also notice that the fifth prince's guardian spirit piece has revealed itself. So Chobepa's
his Mauer, yeah.
Spirit piece. Yeah.
Yeah, the Mauer
that
speaking.
will act as a deterrent, and the first prince's faction will likely restrain themselves for a while and observe the guardian spirit piece behavior. In the meantime, I will invite Kurapika, and we will train together. As long as the prince is being targeted, I cannot afford to be picky about the means.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They're all managing and trying to understand the situation and maneuver things around. So, because he's now been initiated to Nen, he's able to see the Nen beast, and because of this, he's also starting to think and plan ahead, and starting to see, okay, they're aware of Tubepa's Nen beast, but we can work this to our advantage because now they're occupied on trying to slay that Nen beast. Yeah.
All right. Well then, we will begin the lessons with 9 people in the introductory class and 9 people in the beginner class. Please split into 2 groups. Well, being here is much better than being worked to the bone by the 6th queen. I'm anxious, but if I can be of little help to the 6th queen, right? Lizula, let's do our best. Tonasta, if we can really gain superhuman powers, we'll definitely be able to serve the 11th presence better than we do now. I'll be able to fight too. I'm scared. I don't want to do this.
I want to go back to my room right now.
I want to go back to the room.
Yeah, the maids.
Yep. Quietly focusing solely on acquiring Nen abilities, is it? Gato. That's right. Make absolutely sure you refrain from acting on your own. Strategic standby is the safest and most certain path to improving our squad standing. Yes. Okay. Stop messing around. What are you saying? It's not for the squad. It's for yourself, isn't it? Princes are dying one after another, and the target is baby. It'd be done in seconds. What kind of idiot would pass up this opportunity? Perfect opportunity. If I succeed, I'm guaranteed. So he's definitely trying to go after Wobble.
Yeah, this guy. A lot of these guys just have ambition, and even though they're in the same side with all these guards, they also have to they have their own promotions and wanting to advance and go up the totem pole.
Is there anything down below before?
No, it's just this. Just this.
Okay. If the snake charmer is among them, and attacks the 4th prince's private army again, is there a slim chance the 4th prince would sue us and appear in court himself? Now then, those in introductory class, please clasp your hands together freely. I will now distribute black paper to those in the beginner class.
That would be interesting if that does happen. It would be the quickest way for Kurapika to get to meet Seti head on. The 9th prince is dead. And remember, Grin, because Kurapika's whole goal to even get to get as close as possible to Seti was through Hulkenberg, but instead he met Ohito.
But also, Kurapika at some point learned the truth, right? It was after this day that he learned the truth from Melody and stuff.
We don't know. Yeah.
It was after this day.
Yeah. It was before
after the
this.
Events of this day.
It was before this. Yeah.
It was before this.
Yeah. In the end of chapter 402, where he got the letters. But this is interesting because this is what I wanted to see. How are the other characters, the more bigger characters, are going to react to the death of Hulkenberg, especially for Kurapika, who wanted to get close to Hulkenberg so he can get close to Seti, and how is he going to react to that? And what does this mean to Seti? The prince I first attempted to contact in order to establish a connection with the 4th prince. In the end, we still don't even know the secret behind the ability that caused the tremendous rumbling. There's no way it's a simple death from illness. It must be an assassination. The timing right before the trial with the first prince, it's obvious. But there probably won't be any evidence. I'm reluctant, but by using the truth behind the ninth prince's death as a spark, we must also keep the option of inciting the public and take advantage of the chaos on the table.
That's probably you definitely want to keep that strategy in your back pocket because in case all other things that you have in mind don't go, you always want to find a way to turn the table so that you can get an advantage. So inciting the riots and kind of making use of the chaos is a pretty decent strategy to keep in your back pocket.
Oh shoot! I noticed someone. He served as a deterrent to the upper princes and was also the hope of the lower princes. Just by having his private soldiers present in this room, an atmosphere with an exquisite mix of tension and security was created. Now that it's gone, even at the risk of some danger, I wanted to increase complex uncertainties for the upper prince's side. But, as expected, there are no princes trying to allocate any more personnel to the Judicial Bureau, I suppose. I am Jipper. Remember, Grin, this guy was from 394. He was with the military with Seti's friends. Assigned to yeah. So we haven't seen this guy since 2022. And I was like, okay, that's a subplot. Because it's like we have to eventually see this guy later. Now we finally see him and he's out here learning Nen, even though he thought it was hocus pocus, complete bogus from Otoshin. Assigned to the first tier to replace Borkson, is there anything noteworthy from the handover with Muhan? Don't die. If both of you are killed here, the prince won't stay quiet, and it could become a matter of my responsibility. Especially when the matter of the souvenir finally got brushed under the rug.
The souvenir?
Because remember in chapter 376, where Seti was starting to develop suspicions of Danjin, where he basically said, "Yo, what if the act of learning Nen is the condition to be manipulated? Am I able to trust you?"
Oh yeah.
And then he basically told Danjin
when they were trying to do the Nen classes.
Yeah,
right?
and he basically told Danjin whether or not you come back here on the last day and you learn Nen, you need to prove something. You need to bring something here to prove your innocence. So apparently, he managed to sweep it under the rug and gain amnesty from the fourth prince, my goat, the goat himself, the chosen one. But if Jipper dies, or if another bodyguard of his dies, Seti's not going to turn a blind eye to it no more.
Yeah, then
it's
it
on
doesn't
site.
matter because because the souvenir doesn't count towards
He showed mercy to him. He was in a good mood, or maybe he was so focused with his Nen that he didn't care about this anymore. But if this happens again, Seti's gonna have to act because it'll make him look like a chump. And two, the reason why, again, this literally enforces why he didn't care about Muhan. He literally brought on himself. Muhan was an idiot. Therefore, it's like he didn't have any reason to act because it was on Muhan. And there's Slaka. Excuse me, can I say something? I'm Slaka, a soldier belonging to the second queen. I'll join the introductory class too. What is that guy suddenly babbling about?
We don't mind, but belonging to the second queen, meaning he's a close aide to the second prince. No, he's a bodyguard for the third prince. So he's a bodyguard for Zhang Li.
Yeah, he is, but he's a bodyguard for Zhang Li. But he was put there as his bodyguard by Dwazil. So he's really affiliated with Dwazil. But bodyguarding, but guarding Zhang Li, as long as it doesn't conflict with her interests.
Yeah. If I'm gonna stand around here days, it's way more beneficial to learn an ability. Third, a bodyguard who serves as a supervisor to a lower prince, leaving his post to come here. Normally, it's right. Is he sticking around to gain something more important? If they intend to leave us out of the loop, we'll have to consider the treaty itself. Idiot, you're just giving them unnecessary information. Are you trying to ruin the friendly relationship we went?
This man is out here making his own plays and stirring the pot. Yeah, look at the smirk. He knows what he's doing. This bastard, knowing full well doing it on purpose.
Taking advantage of my silence during the previous lecture, sneaking around my back and making under-the-table deals. If you had no intention of handing over the information regarding Nen that could influence the contest,
the succession contest to yours truly. I have absolutely no desire to play along with your. So Slaka, no, Koban Toba is currently with Zhang Li.
He's.
Does he have the? Is he the one that has the coin?
Yeah, Koban Toba's the one with the coin.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this was Slaka left before the first coin even manifested. But yeah, like I remember, like Slaka. This was in chapter 366, where Slaka pretty much.
This makes sense.
Yeah.
Because when Kurapika met with Zhang Li, he said that he kind of subtly hinted to the fact that his bodyguards aren't necessarily trustworthy. They have their own agenda, and so it would make more sense for him to work with Kurapika in this moment. Well, and then that's also where Kurapika also found out Zhang Li is playing a game of his own, and he's kind of dangerous.
He knows he can't trust this guy. Yeah.
So there's a level of awareness to both Kurapika and Zhang Li, and
all the sides are playing each other. They know the game.
Yeah, seemingly everybody in Zhang Li's or at least some of the more important bodyguards in Zhang Li's unit are also having their own agenda.
Yeah. Slaka's one of the more self-ambitious ones who basically has his own goal. He's not in a good relationship with Sakata and Hashito because the first moment he spoke with Bobby Mean, he told him yo, we're gonna watch over these guys because they're bodyguarding. He's bodyguarding with them as a guard for Zhang Li, but he's not really loyal to him, and these guys are still his opponents, and they're still adversaries. And then on top of that, they've been trying to monopolize the information.
They still have their own agenda. They still have their own ambitions. So some of the more ambitious people are going to try and make different moves to try and further their own careers. So, makes sense.
Good grief.
As some of you may have already noticed, the reason is being demonstrated here due to special circumstances. It is to learn the crucial information regarding Nen that could even influence the succession contest. Since this is a good opportunity, I shall announce it right here, right now. Damn, everybody's like, what? What are you talking about? Crucial information regarding Nen. Wait a minute. If you talk about that... Wow, okay, so Kurapika's doing something that even the others don't know.
Yeah.
Even though we might have been able to advance the succession war to our advantage with that information. Is that what you mean? Actually, unfortunately, it's not that kind of information. It seems the expression influenced the outcome of succession war caused a misunderstanding. I apologize. I am very sorry for phrasing it in a way that could be taken to mean only the prince who obtained the information would benefit from it. No, wait. How else are we supposed to take it? I will explain that now.
And then there's Fury activating his earpiece.
Yep. Right now, on the ship, the succession war is to decide the next king of Kakin is in progress. An insane situation where the sole survivor inherits the throne. First, a fundamental question arises regarding that. Why go that far? Oh my god, we're getting cocky.
I feel like we're about to get some lore, bro. Look at this panel of Nasubi.
Dude,
so first chapter and we're already cooking.
Okay, alright. Needless to say, the grand cause lies in the prosperity of the nation. A king is to lead over 1 billion citizens when it comes to the state affairs ritual that decides such a thing. Even as motivation or a mission, it serves as ample justification to go that far. Furthermore, Nen abilities have continuously brought success to the outcomes of these state affairs. That is where the root of it lies. Okay, cool. Oh my god, what a panel, dude!
Oh my god.
Dude, oh my god, the detail on the Kaki
dynasty. Bro, Togashi was cooking.
Look at the palace.
Bro, look at Nasubi. Bro, looks like a demon. The Overlord. First time, by the way, first time this man was been drawn.
You see the dragons?
We've seen it. We've seen this before. We've seen
it in the 3 stars.
We've seen the symbol before, Grin. This was on the coffin of Hulkenberg's. This was on Hulkenberg's coffin in chapter 407.
14 coffins.
Yes. No, not that. I'm talking about literally the wooden coffin that's being carried up by his soldiers from the lower tiers up to the higher tiers.
Hold on.
Is my theory of like every time someone dies, it extends Nasubi's life further?
We don't know. We'll see. We'll
We
see,
don't
Grin.
know. Okay.
But dude, like,
by
the way-
utilizing Nen abilities.
by the way, Grin,
Mhm.
first time this man has been drawn since 2018. Chapter
Yeah.
383 and 382.
I'm sorry, just the imposing figure of Nasubi just like overwhelming the entire kingdom of Kaki
Yeah.
is insane. By utilizing Nen abilities and maximizing the capabilities outcomes through vows and limitations
Yup.
on some binding vow type shit.
Yeah. This is always an
Okay.
element of Nan. We
Yeah.
know this.
Yes, it can further solidify the leadership of the next king who survives this fierce competition, making national prosperity rock solid. That is how powerfully Nen can operate.
By the way, Grin.
Dude, if my goat knew this information, he would cook. Because remember, Kurapika already knew when he went to Zhang Li. He was like, bro, your gift is only good after you win.
Yeah. But Grin.
So this information might actually help him.
Because here's the thing. If they're receiving this information will eventually, through the grapevine, be given over to Seti. This is how he's going to learn about vows and limitations, and then he's going to become even more powerful. Watch.
Of course.
Watch.
Of course. Or he might figure it out himself. I mean,
he is the GOAT. He can do it. He's the GOAT. He's the peak of human talent.
What are vows and limitations? Dude, I can't believe we're actually going into Nen lore right now.
Yeah.
About vows and limitations.
Yeah, with Kaki lore.
The principle by which one gains remarkably higher
efficacy
and power by taking on stricter resolve and greater risk. Okay, so straight up binding vows.
Yeah, we know this.
Nen vows.
It's just in more detail. It's just given more detail now.
The act of sacrificing the lives of one's own bloodline to narrow the successors down to just a single person carries immense resolve, and even brings the risk of complete clan extinction. However, up to this point, this is strictly the resolve of a ritual that decided to conduct the succession war. The resolve of enshrinement and offering.
Yeah.
Enshrinement and offering.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the ritual.
Yeah, basically the succession contest, but explained through the terms of Nen. How the resolve to sacrifice all of the princes but one. So it would make the next prince, or like it would power up the Nen tools, the Nen treasures, or the prince, which could be done through the 14 coffins. The Matsuri in Matsuri Goto, Administration Affairs of State, has 4 meanings, and Kakin has utilized this in their Nen-based succession war. Prayer to God, praying for national prosperity and establishing a vow, offering to God, offering the lives of blood relatives as proof of resolve, comforting souls in spirit, gathering those who died during the succession war into 2 locations to form an aura field, unity of government and ritual politics by the ritualist, governing the affairs of state and using the immense power gathered through the ceremony. Bro, these panels, Grin. The process of advancing the war, the succession war, the restrictions, risks that arise during the ceremony. If these are not established, the Nen required to maintain the power of the guardian spirit beast, the leadership necessary for government. That is, what makes one fit to lead the masses as king cannot be generated.
Go back up. I just want to read through
Go for it.
This entire section again. The Matsuri Matsuri Goto Administration Affairs has 4 meanings, and Kakin has utilized this in their Nen-based succession war. Prayer to God, which is praying for national prosperity and establishing the vow. Offering to God, offering the lives of blood relatives as a proof of resolve. Comforting souls and spirits, gathering those who died during the succession war into 2 locations to form a moral field. Unity of government and ritual politics by ritualists, governing the affairs of state using the immense power of Catholic ceremony. So basically, these are 4 different types of vows that rule or govern different aspects
Yeah,
of the Kakin kingdom.
that make Kakin and the dynasty as strong as it is.
So these are just basically examples that Kurapika is using as
Nen vows. The Nen vows that Kakin is using on a much larger scale compared to just individualistic basic abilities. But on a
which
much
also means the people who are listening to this, both in the introductory class, can basically take each of these 4 examples and try and categorize which example roughly fits their prince the best, to then try and create a Nen vow that could be similar or adjacent to each of these individual vows that are basically representing Kakin. Because remember, Kurapika did say that this is the reason this is important is because it's to understand the amount of Nen vows and limitations that Kakin dynasty has been ruling under, which is why Nisubi was prominent for as long as he was. So which means that instead of just creating a vow to kill an opponent, if you make a vow that basically allows you to fall into one of these 4 categories, but on an individualistic level based on whatever the individual prince's goals are, it might make their inherent Nen ability that much more powerful and more likely to succeed this succession contest, not only in winning it individually to become the last king, but also to put themselves in a position that once they get to become king, they're able to actually make drastic changes for their nation and move it forward in an interesting direction, right?
Yeah. Dude, first chapter, already learning more Kakin lore in the sense of how they used Nen on a wide scale with the seed urn and the fact that the condition that it has to be one single prince left standing, which would increase it, and then the treasures and all that sort of stuff, and how they've been doing this with accumulated Nen for centuries. By the way, have you read this?
No.
Okay.
The process of advancing the succession were the risks, that arise during ceremony. If these are not established, the Nen required to maintain the power of the guardian spirit beast, the leadership necessary for government, that is, what makes one fit to lead the masses as a king, cannot be generated. So you need to establish the risks going forward. That way it makes it easier for you to control your guardian spirit beast. Because understanding your risks and limitations is what's basically going to make it easier for you to not only become become a good leader necessary for government to happen in Kakin, but also to control your guardian spirit beast in a more effective manner. Because that's the fundamental idea of if you understand the risks required during the ceremony, then you don't need to spend as much power to maintain your guardian spirit beast. The very restriction is crucial information fully capable of swaying the outcome of the succession.
That's clean panels. Look at this. And there's a ship on top of the whale.
My god, dude. Takashi's cooking back to back. Oh my god, dude. These panels. Whew. Voyage to the... Sorry.
Bro.
I need it. Give me a second. We're cooking. We're cooking.
Dude, this is too peak.
The voyage to the new continent takes 2 months. Since 12 days have already passed, what remains is about a month and a half. So, wait, the new continent is the Dark Continent.
I think they're referring to the pseudo fake new continent. The
refueling station.
Yeah, the primeval new continent.
Okay.
Because the refueling station is at the end of the 3rd week, and then with a bit more travel, then they get to the fake continent. That's basically being called the Dark Continent, but for the civilians.
That's where we're deboarding all the civilians before we actually hit.
And then go to the real one, which takes a bit longer.
Since the ceremony is scheduled immediately after landing, where the current king will officially pronounce the prince who will become the next king. Wait, there's a ceremony immediately.
Yeah, we learned this. We learned this all the way back then.
There's no doubt that the deadline for the succession war is during the Black Whale's voyage. Determining the next successor during this time is an absolute requirement. Dude, these panels are so good.
Yeah.
Oh my god. If the deadline arrives and the succession war is not concluded with only one single prince remaining,
the Hyugoro family will fall from the royal throne.
So that's
which means basically,
yeah.
if one person doesn't, if by the end of the time limit, if there isn't one sole prince surviving, then none of the families are royal. None of them matter anymore because they're just common people. They're not royalty.
Yeah, and that's another way to end the succession contest and completely just destabilizing the whole thing.
Yeah. That literally means every single prince and every single queen and every single bodyguard, all of them are just like
all their motivations just fall down. Yeah, but
none of it matters because they're not. Nobody's. Nobody gets to be king because the family doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, there's no point. Like the power is illegitimate, and then it's like that's another way that gives him even more reason to want a stalemate to force a stalemate. Because it would completely destabilize everything.
Oh my, dude. These panels, dude. I just peeped the...
Yeah, the skull. This is peak. Yeah. And I assume this is like a time limit for the month and a half.
We'll see. Agitation? No, scratch that. You mean a regime change? If we lose adaptability, extraordinary manipulation capabilities, and everything else that has been heightened to their absolute limits by Nen, that is inevitably the outcome. Isn't the risk higher if it's everyone dies if you don't meet the deadline? Why do you think of it as a collapse rather than total annihilation? At the moment, it is decided that only one person can survive. A contract risking one's life has already been established. Completely stripping away options during the course of the festival is not a restriction. But coercion for Nen, it would end up having the opposite effect.
Wait. I'm trying to understand this. So what's he trying to say here, Grin?
Okay, so at the moment it's decided only one. Only one person has basically it's decided only one person can survive, and the contract risking one's life has already been established. So basically, every prince has to risk their own life in order to survive. That's what that says. Completely stripping away options during the course of the festival is not a restriction. So taking away people's options to participate in said succession war is not really a restriction. It's not something that basically the princes have options beyond just murdering them, murdering their competition. They have more than that as options to kind of like strip other princes away from being able to.
That's what I wanted to understand, Gren. Because all the way back in chapter 362, 363, we had two conversations. Well, in 363, we had a conversation where Camilo went to Nasubi and basically said, "I'd like to make a suggestion, Father or Daddy. I'd like for you to accept dropouts to not be anything but death." And then she said, "Can you do that?" Because she wanted to clarify on some things that the definition of dropping out is ambiguous, and she only wants that to be flat out death.
I think Kurapika's also saying that essentially because you have the ability to completely strip away a person's chance at the throne, it's not actually a limiting factor.
That a prince doesn't have to just die.
They're more
because that's what Nasubi was insinuating.
They don't have to.
That there's different.
But also, it says.
Go ahead.
It says for Nen, it would end up having the opposite effect. Mm-hmm. What does that mean? Basically, when someone uses for Nen, it would end up having the opposite effect. So for a Nen ability, it would end up having completely. He's just saying basically for Nen, if you completely strip away any options for Nen, it's not coercing the person; it's restricting. Because when you completely strip away options, you're restricting yourself through your Nen vow.
Yeah,
that's basically what he's saying.
Yeah.
Leaving an option for when the succession contest is not completed. In other words, the freedom that permits multiple princes to survive. But by leaving hope for the participants in weaker positions, the risk of the rulers self-destructing is hidden behind the restriction of time limit. Wait. By leaving hope for the participants in weaker position, leaving an option for the succession contest is not completed. In other words, the freedom that allows them to survive. By leaving hope for the person with weak positions, the risk of the rulers self-destructing is hidden behind.
Yeah, basically he's saying that this gives like the chance of multiple princes living, but
No, I think they're no, yes, but
yeah,
also
but
I
then he
think
says
there's more to it.
then Cocking would self-destruct.
He says leaving an option for when the succession contest is not completing. In other words, the freedom that I got that part.
Yeah.
By leaving hope for participants in weaker positions. So basically, Wobble,
The younger
Medium,
princes,
all these
yeah.
weaker princes, right? The risk of the rulers self-destructing. So rulers being all the like Camilla, Benjamin, all the higher princes, self-destructing is hidden behind the restriction of a time limit. Basically, the time limit is a hidden restriction for them that they're not aware of. So even though there might be an option for multiple princes to survive, and this might allow weaker people to the weaker princes to essentially exist, the higher princes still like risk their entire chance at winning because the time limit exists. It has to be done before they get to said point.
Yeah.
So essentially, I'm really confused on how it's phrased here by leaving home.
Grin, honestly, this might be one of those things where we'll have to read this chapter, but with different translations, and then comparing it and seeing what that says, because then maybe it'll be clarified. Furikov is saying, "Are you really the one saying that?" That's basically egging us on, like we're screwed if we don't hurry up and kill the lower ranked princes.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So I was right. Yeah. So essentially, basically, the longer they take in the war, the more likely it is that that everyone's gonna end up losing it. So that's why he's saying, "Are you really saying that?" Basically, that's why he's saying, "Are you egging us on?" Okay. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
One more thing, and I shall make a major announcement. Okay, dude, Kropika, you added some. The 14th prince does not possess the qualifications for the succession war. What? What do you mean?
Shockwave strikes. I feel he's lying. He's lying in order to like try and ease like the fire off Wobble.
Maybe or maybe not.
Because here's the thing. How would this work? Because we know beyond, like literally Nasubi met beyond. Because there's like two ideas. One is extremely foolish because I don't think that Oito is actually a secret prince. That doesn't make any sense because Nasubi literally found her and married her, and then she rose up from poverty. We know this from chapter 350. And then Wobble was born shortly. Therefore, Wobble has the qualifications.
Unless Wobble is actually Beyond's kid.
Yeah.
Which would technically make Wobble, even though they're not direct lineage of Nasubi's offspring. So
I find it very hard to believe that Kurapika would literally reveal that information because it's tied to his deal with Long He. And I don't think he would want to just willingly reveal that information to all of these other guards.
I don't think he would willingly reveal that information to
Yeah, we have to see. We have to see the next chapter for this.
He'd be willing to share. I also feel like he'd be willing to share enough information regarding how he knows, that Wobble doesn't qualify. Again, it could be a ruse. This entire thing could just be a ruse.
He could just be a line.
But But in case he actually is telling the truth, I can see him basically giving them pieces of information without outright breaking his contract with Long He.
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, Kurapika is saying, "Hey, you're not limited to just killing people, but there is a time limit, and if that time limit happens, everybody loses."
Bro,
That being said, like there is an option where everybody's free, so that exists. But also, the longer you take to figure this out.
Yeah. And
The
this is what
longer
Nasubi.
everyone's
This
gonna
is built up too,
start.
by the way. This was foreshadowed all the way back in the beginning of the arc, with Nasubi speaking to Camila
Also,
and Zhang
is that
Li.
really Oito? Is that really
That's
Oito?
Oito.
Or is that,
And that's Oito, Grin. And
Okay.
it makes me wonder, like, why is Togashi explicitly focusing on Oito here? Like, what's he cooking? What's he doing? Dude, like,
oh my god!
this bombshell.
Oh my god! Unless, and hear me out. Unless technically, wait, sorry. We got Wobble after Nasubi found Oito.
Yeah, Wobble was, yeah.
Was she pregnant with Wobble? Because if she was pregnant with Wobble before she met
No,
Nasubi,
because what Oito said was that I was upset the moment I was like raised in poverty. The moment I met Nasubi, I became obsessed with becoming his royal wife, and then she lived a life of sordid fame and luxury, and then she only realized the truth after Wobble was born. That basically the truth that there can only be one prince left standing, and that her daughter was about to be damned. So we don't know.
But it also doesn't.
This is nothing more than speculation, honestly.
Yeah, but it also doesn't give us context on like was she pregnant before she met like.
I doubt it,
Nasubi,
because
no?
Nasubi would realize. That man, I don't doubt that man's mental acumen. That man's intelligent. And we're finally learning stuff that Nasubi's pretty much known about since the beginning of this arc, and what he really meant with
if she wasn't
the idea of the dropout.
If she wasn't like pregnant when Nasubi basically picked her up off the street and basically let her live her lavish lifestyle, then either this is a lie, or two, Wobble is Beyond's kid and not Nasubi's kid.
Yeah. Or the other way around, with Oito being related to Beyond, which I doubt it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, Wobble being Beyond.
No, I meant Oito being Wobble. It's being related to Beyond, which I doubt it.
Related to Beyond.
Yeah.
Which yeah. If Wobble is Beyond's kid, then it automatically it excludes Wobble from the succession war.
Yeah. And then it's like, why is he focusing on this panel? Now, Grin, this was a fire chapter. Like, of course, every chapter by Succession War is fire, but this was mainly exposition.
Wait, hold up. I need to see.
Yeah.
I need to see what all we got real quick.
Oh yeah, the bingo sheet. I don't think we have anything crossed off. Maybe Cocking lore, but I mean we learned a bit more Cocking lore, but I personally like to get a bit more before crossing that off.
Illegitimate heir details, no. This doesn't count there. Kaiser button doesn't exist. Cycle, action power, bonus attack. No. Beyond Nasubi, no. Tyson makes alliance. No. Saga Dogwalk, no. Major character death, no. Cocking lore, cross that out.
If you want to, sure.
DC agenda. Lumi and Call to Mind, Shangli coin stocks, Cocking Prince flashback. I would count this to. Would you count this towards Cocking Prince flashback? No, it's not a Prince flashback.
No,
but it is Cocking lore. Refueling station, bro. I got it. I'm crossing. I got some refueling station. So no, we didn't get any refueling station. Those are not on targets. Cost system stocks. Did we get cost system stocks?
Not yet.
No Tree of Cocking, no Donjin subplot, no Kurapika learns the
But technically, I did get the Donjin subplot. They literally explained in that one piece because I thought like, the souvenir. But now I learned that was swept under the rug.
Okay, so Cocking and Donjin Cocking lore Donjin subplot. Cool.
Yeah.
Beyond Nether
and of course the free space, PPP.
Didn't happen. Nasubi Devil Hand shenanigans didn't happen.
No.
Guardian of Foot didn't happen. PT that didn't happen. Global Awakens hasn't happened. Camilla Comeback hasn't happened.
No Morono's hideout, not Luffy or Sokka, not Nasubi.
Nasubi cupcake era. That's hilarious.
Yeah, Bubblicious, the cupcake era, and the Mickey Mouse contest.
It's not Bobby Mina subplot, so this doesn't
No.
count towards that. No. Two
Yeah.
things.
He had some interesting panels in here though, where he was like, Togashi explicitly focused on, and he's still cooking with that character. He's marinating with him. We still don't know what his deal is.
Yep. We didn't get illegitimate heirs or Kaiser Button or the.
That's
Kaiser
fine.
Rates,
That's fine. I'm satisfied with what I got with my first chapter. I'm satisfied. This is a very good chapter. Just a lot of great characterization, introducing new characters, a bit more like cocking lore, but explaining through the Nen mechanics of vows and contracts and constrictions. So like a bit more cocking lore, a lot of characterization, mostly just set up an exposition for the bodyguards and the later movements. And then of course we had the stuff in the beginning with Hulkenberg, with Benjamin, and Sarah Hill plotting to make her move, and the stuff with Kai. That one very short page, a few panels with Kaiser, Kacho Melody, and then the rest of it was just the Nen class.
Yep. Let me cross out Kaki Lore and Dungeon subplot real quick.
Sure. And Peak, the middle, the free space.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Peak. Cross that out. Kaki Lore. Dude, we got so much Kaki Lore this time.
Yeah.
Dungeon subplot. 2 things off the jump in the first chapter. Oof.
Dude, I'm excited.
No DCH and no refueling station. Nothing yet. But
dude,
I mean,
this is like the
yeah. 2 things off for it.
Like this is a great chapter. A lot of stuff happened, even though it's like it's not as massive and crazy as chapter 401 as a first return chapter. But this was a really great chapter. It was exactly what it needed to be. A chapter like this needs to happen in order to ease us in, so we can slowly build up to the more insane chapters later down this run.
I fully believe that as every chapter goes on, next chapter, we're gonna get the end of this, and we're gonna cut back to Hockenberg, and Zhang Li, and Benjamin.
That's when the really insane stuff's gonna happen.
I also would love to see the Hendrik stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, please give me Beyond. Give me the rest of the Beyond conversation this volume. Please! Who is he talking to? Who is the
bro, I'm just excited for setting the Hulkenberg stuff. That's like the main attraction for me. Anything else I get is a bonus. Dude, this is a great return chapter, man.
Oh my god, what a great chapter.
Yeah.
We got so much information in this one chapter. And so many new characters.
Yeah.
Like hella characters introduced.
Yeah, and like them being like characterized, like Togashi like giving us their motivations and their goals, and they're all like maneuvering and trying to out scheme one another. And then on top of that, we got Kaki and Lore, the development and the movements of like other subplots.
Information about how Nen went beyond just being like used as a tool on an individual level, that actively governs different aspects of the Kakim dynasty.
Yeah.
And how the limitations, how specific limitations were put in place to govern individual aspects and individual
and how it's combined with the Nen treasure, with the Kakim, the regalia.
Yep.
And this is combined with cumulative, with accumulated like Nen items.
Yes.
That's over the course of like centuries, hundreds and hundreds of years.
Dividing. Also, now each of the bodyguards in each of these classes now has to think of like, damn, are there options beyond just killing people?
Yeah.
Like, what kind of options do I have, and how quickly?
And then learning about vows and limitations and how this information could reach the ears of the princes.
These options before we get to the new continent, before the Black Whale, basically. Dude,
this is like the first chapter. Grin. This is the first chapter in years that we've had like the idea of like the continent, and all of like that sort of stuff being told to us, man. Throwback, dude.
Gosh, so
Fire
much.
chapter, man. Like what a great
we
way
got
to come
see
back,
things
man.
from we got to see things from Balsamico's perspective. Well, Hockenberg's perspective. We got to see a little bit of basically the Justice Bureau. So Kaiser, Melody, and Cacho talking. But the majority of it was these Nen classes and what these Nen limitations are and how things are going to essentially change. We got to see different bodyguards and what they plan on doing. But now, after this information, they're probably going to have to change up their strategies on how they approach, because some of them already have like contracts and deals made with other princes.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh yeah, and we saw Gipper come back. Or Jipper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Jipper.
Mm-hmm.
Sarahel and her, like, basically trying to kill the 14th prince.
Yeah, and this is apparently how she originally looks.
This might change up her agenda of, like, not wanting to kill Global.
Mm-hmm. Depends. Like...
Because
Bro, the next chapter is going to be crazy. Because, like, how exactly is he going to explain this to them? Man, it's so good to be back, man. And it's only gonna get more insane.
Oh, by the way, just expect us to like you'll know. But when the next chapter comes out, me and Hart would have already dissected almost everything in every panel.
Yeah.
In this chapter,
we read this several times.
Reread this several times to try and figure out new things. So you'll get to see more of our reactions and more of our thoughts on what's about to happen soon.
For this panel.
Dude, that panel's like...
Best panel in this chapter. This
Nasubi
panel.
Legendary panel. That is a legendary panel. That is such a good panel.
Togashi's just cooking with his visuals, man. First chapter back and we're already cooking. And this chapter wasn't as like insane of a bombshell as 401, but this was like this still gave us a lot.
No, I mean I feel like it was a pretty insane chapter.
It's still really good. It's still fire.
In terms of information, like this is a lore drop information.
Yeah, Grin. In some ways, this chapter did give us more than 401 in terms of motivations, characterizations, and giving us more. It's insane just how much this chapter did in like 19 pages.
401 was a hype chapter and an update chapter, like different interesting characters and their moves.
Yeah.
This is a more, hey, let me give you some context on what's going on. Let me break a few things down. Let me go into how intricate details some of these Nen classes are and what you need to consider when you're reading this, because you have a secret time limit that essentially like makes everybody, regardless of who you are and how you're associated with the royal family, essentially not a noble anymore. Yeah. Because if the war doesn't end by then, everybody loses.
Yeah. And then he knew about this all the way back when Zhang Li and Camilla asked him about this.
Yep.
Where it's like, how you choose to define the term and like drop out is up to you, and that's another part of the succession contest. Dude, it's insane just how much. Dude, this is why Togashi's on a different level compared to every other mangaka on the planet.
I like how all the bodyguards immediately thought that like went like murder hobo. They immediately thought like just killing the other princess was the only option. And with Kurapika basically here giving additional context, now they have to be like, damn, is it worth the risk of trying to kill a prince when we have a few other options? Maybe taking out other princes in maybe a financial manner or a lack of resources, or basically giving them unable to participate due to a certain sickness or perhaps other political restraints. Now you have so many other things to factor into how the succession contest could essentially uphold, and what each prince chooses from this point onward is going to really reflect on whatever Togashi decides to cook in this next volume. Damn, dude.
Grin, like, this is the thing that we always talk about when it comes to Togashi. 100 chapters is like the equivalent of like 5 to 10 a single 100 chapter is the equivalent of like 5 to 10 chapters for other manga. Like,
Yeah.
this chapter gave us so
You have to
much
go-
in, like, 19 pages.
Yeah, you have to go back and reread. I mean, you have to go back and reread.
Yeah. Whereas, like, other manga would take, like, the course of, like, 5 to 10 to
some
deliver
of the
this much
wording
information.
here is kind of difficult.
Uh-huh.
So when the official does drop, I will, we will.
Yeah, we will
the
reread
officials
it.
as well.
Anyway, fire chapter. I think that's...
Fire chapter.
Can't wait for
We'll
next
see
week.
you guys next time.
Yeah.
See you guys next time.